Play now.
Aww.
Bruh.
All week long.
All rise. Order in the court, and it almost looks like those flowers are coming out of Judge Boyd's bag.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, she's bringing her own flowers to work now in her beautiful bag.
Love that. Do you think that they're bought for her, or she just stopped by and get them every
Those ones look like they've seen a few days. Those ones look
a
little rough. I'm not going to lie, but maybe she's got an admirer. Maybe there's a love affair going on, and the admirer just leaves the flowers there for her every morning.
Maybe it's this guy in the portrait there. You never know. Pro tip: if you're a cheap bastard like myself and like to buy flowers, Walmart Market is where it's at. Just so you know.
Thankfully, my wife hates flowers.
Yeah,
She's like, "Why are you wasting money on this stuff that's just gonna die?" It's like I spend money on you all the time.
Well, good to see everybody. It is time for We Got a Case. It looks like Judge Boyd isn't doing much, so hopefully you got something we can.
Judge Boyd is actually Judge Board right now. Yeah, Creed, over at the 14th District. I believe it's Judge Brantley. Yeah, Brantley S. Clark Jr.
Nice.
What a name, am I right?
You waive your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
You doing this of your own free will.
Yes, sir.
Rocking that mullet.
The admission is your best interest.
Yes, sir.
And you agree you violated terms and
Hey,
conditions of probation by
beautiful
picking up your
hair.
arrest.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll find there's a basis. I'm gonna find that Mr. Simmons' admission was freely and voluntarily made after consultation with his attorney. I'm going to accept it. He's reinstated to probation. His probation is extended 36 months from the original sentence date. You must make a minimum restitution payment of $50 a month. All other conditions that were imposed are reimposed. There's an additional $250 imposed
Be a month for the rest of your life, probably.
$50 a month.
Probation. You have 30 days to file your notice of appeal if you wish to appeal your judgment sentence. If you'd like to have an attorney.
By the way, there's been some real rough cases through here this morning.
You get no charge. Good luck to you, sir. You step over and speak with the probation officer.
Hopefully, we won't run into any at that extent, but big, huge sentences going out. So might see some people going to prison.
Coming before you this morning is Mr. Michael Douglas Williamson, case number 22CF.
Michael Douglas, everybody, celebrity.
We were set for preliminary in case a plea was entered.
Did he murder somebody? He's got 3 names.
Evidentiary this afternoon, Your Honor.
All right, we'll keep him over for this afternoon.
Yell at her, Judge. Tell her to get close to the mic. Leather and Lashes, how are you?
Straight from the Dollar Tree, Daryl. I like it there.
You understand?
I just stopped by the cemetery.
I told you about that lady that was selling at the flea market. She'd stop by, grab all the flowers and arrangements, and on her way to the flea market. That's
repurposing. Well, they didn't want to talk to that guy, so we're gonna bring somebody else up, I guess.
Speaking of which, are we gonna use that one for Florida Friday by any chance? Because
if we can find a video,
yeah,
I highly doubt anybody's gonna cover it, but we'll see. Wait and see. That a woman? Wild Woman Wednesday kicking off with a little corporal tunnel.
Oh, I thought she was coming straight from the alley.
Your Honor, this is Shelley Ammons in case 20-4857. She's prepared to admit to having willfully violated the terms of her supervision by removing the bracelet that was placed on her.
She needed to put that thing on her arm.
Sentencing date. This is an open plea to the court. She understands that the maximum sentence is 15 years. Under the score sheet, the minimum score sheet sentence is 64.5 months, Department of Corrections. And she has 179 days credit against that sentence. We'd stipulate that she did remove the bracelet, but she'd like to address the court in terms of sentencing. And we'd waive a reading of any discretionary.
She's got a good reason, Creed.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Hold on, just we gotta go through some stuff. Okay?
I'm sorry.
I know you're nervous.
I am super nervous.
Oh, that's always good when we get a criminal talking.
Yes. Is that Gojo free
Yes,
over there,
ma'am.
Your Honor?
Ms. Ammons,
Help
state your
yourself.
name, please.
Shelley Camille Ammons.
Ms. Ammons, you heard the announcement of Mr. Meredith. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Volunteer.
You understand that you're entering an open
Tina?
plea to violate, or you're admitting you violate the terms and conditions of your probation?
Yes, sir.
Understand
Mhm.
that?
Yes, sir.
There's not an agreement with the state. You
Yes,
understand
sir.
that?
Morning, Ravens. Here
And
comes
that your
the
maximum
military mob
exposure
rep.
is 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections.
Wow.
Understand that? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Has anybody promised
Reason
you
to be
you'd get
nervous.
less than 15 years in prison by admitting you violated the terms and conditions of your probation?
No, sir.
You understand your minimum sentence is over 64 months in prison,
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
Sassy.
Your Honor, it's actually 43.8.
43.8 months. You understand that?
Walter.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sassy,
And
good to see you.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning, which would affect your ability to enter this agreement or understanding the terms and conditions of it?
No, sir.
15
I've
years
been
on the
handed a
line.
Violation of probation community control plea form. There's a signature of the defendant line. Is that yours?
Yes, sir, it is.
Have you had an opportunity to read that agreement?
Yes, sir.
You had an
Flush it,
opportunity to
God
go over the
bless.
Violation report with Mr. Meredith.
Yes, sir.
15.
You had sufficient time to speak with Mr. Meredith about your violation.
Yes, sir.
You satisfied with his advice and counsel?
I am.
You understand that by admitting you violated the terms and conditions of your probation, you're waiving your right to have an evidentiary hearing.
Yes, sir.
Get your
Waiving
guesses
your
in
right
on
to
how
be
long
tried
she's
to
going to
prove
get.
The allegations against you.
Yes, sir.
Waiving your
I'm
right
gonna
to
say
have your
10
attorney
years,
cross-examine the state's witnesses and contest their evidence.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to present any defenses you may have to the
See
allegations.
what you
Yes,
did yet?
sir.
You're waiving your right to subpoena your own witnesses to come to
Not
court and
yet.
testify on your
But
behalf.
she did
Yes, sir.
violate by
Waiving
cutting
your
off her
right to testify
scram.
to remain silent at the
Mhm.
evidentiary hearing, which would be your decision to make.
Yes, sir.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
You're doing this. of
Pretty
your
much
own
at this
free
point,
will.
this is
Sure
her
am.
Damn it,
going to
you
try
take
and
admissions in your
talk
best
him into
interest.
giving her a low
Yes, sir.
sentence.
And you understand that that the basis for the violation is that you removed your electronic device and absconded from supervision. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Are you effing kidding me?
Perfect timing. I guess we'll never know.
I like to think she went free when the lights went out like that. She had her gang come in. They broke her out. A fight broke out between a couple of her guys in her gang and the bailiffs. So they're fighting their way through, right? They're coming back, fighting. They're going around. She's in the clear. She's down the road. And then they shoot her as she gets off into the clearing.
I guess you guys are all right.
I think everybody won on that one.
Walter, glad to have you back. And my God, I'm glad you had a good day because that
Good day.
doesn't sound good. The other
That
days.
sounds terrible.
Glad to have you here with us, though.
But
Good to see
Creed,
you.
once again, that is the price we pay when
That's
we
right.
play with live court.
Yep. That's what it's all about. For those of you who don't know, a lot of these courts, for reasons, don't save their videos. When they're done, they're done. They're gone forever. And that's why it goes black and never comes back like it just did.
Very black.
Mike, I have no idea where we're at, but let's we're not even give me a second. Let me
We're
pull-
off the record. Is that what you're going to
We
say?
aren't even live there. Cowlitz live over here. We can do that for now.
Yeah, jump over there and see what we got.
See
Oh
what's
my God.
happening.
We would
It's very
also ask
bright.
that he be given credit for any time that he's served since his booking.
No credit, Creed.
Those are some big ass sentences over there, huh? 15 years.
Yeah,
Compared to
they're,
what we
they're,
were dealing with yesterday. Anyway.
they're banging them out, man. Tons of vampire stuff that we could not watch.
Oh God. Don't do any of that.
We couldn't do it.
Mr. Grato.
Grato with a $50 haircut.
Okay, I'm gonna take those 5 days, or 40 hours, convert it back to
Oh.
5 days in jail. I just signed an order for 5 days. You get credit for any time you've already served. And, successfully completing his volunteer work was not marked as a condition of his judgment and sentence. So even if I was inclined, I couldn't do it. So 5 days, you get credit for however much time you served on this thing.
And-
And that includes from your original
Indeed.
arrest. Okay, thank you, Mr. Drummond.
Thank you, Mr.
Riley Eggers, Your Honor.
Thank
Riley?
you.
Say it isn't so. Thought he was dead. Nope, another guy.
Looks a lot like him, though.
Everybody
You are
wants-
Riley Barrett
Weird here, huh?
Eggers, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Eggers, the court issued a warrant for your arrest in two separate cause numbers. The first one is a 914 upon a finding of probable cause that you committed the crime of theft of the third degree. The court also issued a warrant for your arrest on the cause number that ends in 915 on another probable cause finding that you committed a crime of theft in the third degree. And so I'm going to quash both warrants at this point in time.
Quash them, Creed.
As I said, the court
Mayor,
has
you
no
hard of
probable
hearing today?
cause on each one of these charges.
Not sassy with
You
you.
do have the right to be represented by an attorney of your own choosing, and if you
You
cannot
okay,
afford
Mayor?
one, an attorney will be appointed at no expense to you. You're presumed innocent of each of these charges, unless the prosecutor proves
Good news.
each beyond a reasonable
That's good
doubt. You have
stuff.
the right to a speedy trial, and that's 60 days from arraignment if you're in custody on the matter, or 180 days from the readiness if you're out of custody on the matter. You have the right to a jury trial. You have the right to hear and question the prosecutor's witnesses. You have the right to testify on your own behalf, to call your own witnesses, and compel
That was for
witnesses to appear at
Riley,
no
not
expense
you.
to you.
That's
You have
right.
the right to remain silent. If you exercise that right, can't be used against you. You have the right to disqualify up to one judge if you do so in a timely manner. If you're found guilty after a trial, you will have the right to appeal, but you have to file a notice of appeal in a timely manner. You plead guilty, you give up all of these rights, except the right to counsel if you're not a citizen. The other right to consult with an immigration attorney. The reason is that criminal conviction for a non-citizen could result in deportation.
It's true you own that
denial of
train
naturalization,
today,
and
Fletcher.
It's all yours.
Would you like me to appoint an attorney to represent you in these two cases?
Yes, I believe so.
You will not control my destiny.
We'll get into that in just a second. But I'll appoint the Grim Lawyer to represent you in each one of these cases. One or not
Ooh, the grim log.
on your behalf. I'll
Hey,
hear
Rhodes?
from the prosecutor on bail and conditions.
Hey, now.
City is requesting standard release conditions, that he not go to Sportsman's Warehouse. Just want to check one thing.
Carolyn's
I'm
Gels hopping on the
showing
flusher tray today.
that he also has a warrant out of Longview and
Well,
two warrants out of
separate
Longview
cases.
in other cases. I do not see an extensive warrant history other than that. At this point, I'll defer to the court on bail.
Let us hear from the defense.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider release on personal recognizance.
Thank you, Flusher. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Mr. Eggers
Oh,
just
whew.
mentioned that there's a job, he has a job that he needs
Hi,
to get
Bob.
back to.
Babaluya.
And it looks like he does have an address in Castle Rock.
Does she have
I'm
flawless
gonna set
skin
bail
or
at
what?
$1,000 on each of the charges. I'm gonna set the following conditions here for a
Get down.
pretrial January 3rd, January
It's like
31st
porcelain.
at 1 p.m. via Zoom. Appear for readiness March
very pale with
14th
lots
at
of
2
light.
p.m. via Zoom, and a jury trial on March 3rd at 9 a.m. in person. Have no criminal law violations or any change of address to the court clerk and your attorney. You do get out, you must meet with
I'm
your
writing that
attorney
down,
before the
Mayor.
pretrial that I just set. You must file an attorney application before the pretrial that I've set.
I got it.
One other condition, do not enter any Sportsman's Warehouse anywhere. Do not enter the
Sportsman
Three
Warehouse,
Rivers
Creed.
Mall or Three Rivers
Sound like a
Ballpark.
Dick's.
We'll send over this paperwork for you. So you've got it all.
Either
Thank you,
that
Mr.
or
Your Honor, could you repeat the readiness?
Ross is
date?
dressed for less for
Yeah.
sporting goods.
Readiness date was 2/14.
Thank you.
Levi Holland, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Levi.
Seriously, look at every single person walks so weird in here.
Well, it's been a rough night
Levi
inside.
Carter
Creed.
Holland, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Holland, I have here a statement of defendant upon plea of guilty to a charge of possession of a dangerous weapon. Have you had a chance to review this with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Believe you understand it?
Yeah.
Did you authorize them to put your signature on it?
Lots of
Yes.
man spread.
How much of this crime are that you within the city of Kelso knowingly possessed a set of brass knuckles? You understand those would be
Oh, how embarrassing.
elements
was
of the
Joe
crime.
for that.
Yes, Your Honor.
Son
By
of a
pleading guilty,
bitch,
you're
throw the
giving up
book
the
at
right to
him.
speak in public trial in front of an impartial jury. You're giving up the right to remain silent. You're giving up the right to
15
hear
years,
the
baby.
prosecutor's
15
witnesses.
years, I'd say.
Giving up the right
Max
to
sentence.
testify on your own behalf, to be presumed innocent, giving up your right to force the prosecutor to prove each and every element of the crime charged. Beyond a reasonable doubt, you're giving up your right to appeal from the determination of guilt. These are your trial rights. To understand, you're giving them up by pleading guilty.
Yes, Your Honor.
Maximum potential sentence, 364 days of jail or $5,000 fine plus assessments. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Prosecutors making a recommendation of 3 days in jail, credit for time served.
Habitual
Fairness,
brass
more
knuckle
suspended
possessor, I bet.
For 24 months, $4,700 fine, suspended for 24 months. They're asking,
She got
I
great skin.
require you to pay a $300 fine, $100 attorney fee, and $84 filing
Thank
fee,
you, Gary.
and a $43 conviction fee. You understand? That's their recommendation.
Rock tell you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, do you understand? I don't have to follow anybody's recommendation. I give you any
Ragnar,
sentence.
see, Ed
up
wants
the
to start
maximum
another radio station.
Case would be over.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm aware of that.
Okay.
You're not a citizen, this criminal conviction could result in deportation, exclusion from admission, or denial of naturalization under the laws of the United States. Do you understand that?
I would love
Yes, Your
that.
Honor.
Then to the charge of possession of a dangerous weapon. How do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You may just
That's
plead
the other
freely
day on
and
that.
voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does anybody threaten you to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Has anybody made any promises to get you to?
We're gonna
plead
find
guilty
out the
other
judge was
than-
punched with brass
prosecutor's
knuckles one
promise,
time. He's got a
recommendation?
vendetta against
Big
anyone
up.
possessing them.
Okay, I got a
Give 'em
statement
back
that says
to
on
the
January
reporter.
9th, 2023 in Kelso, Washington, I know I had in my possession a pair of brass
Thank you,
knuckles
Erica.
that I had intended to use
Erica.
as a belt buckle. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
A
I'll
belt
find a true
buckle.
factual basis for this plea that it is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered. I'll accept it, find the defendant guilty of this offense. Anything more, Mr. File?
So he's wearing brass knuckles as a
Nope.
belt buckle?
From the defense.
Your Honor, we're asking that you follow the recommendation, impose 3 days with credit for time served. Mr. Holland has been in on bail in this case since the 9th. We're also asking the court to
Holy
run this
crap.
concurrent with his DOC sanction
To be clear,
on case number 16-1.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
that's
Hang
all
on
that
one
he was
second.
in for, right? Is the brass
Correct.
knuckles?
16-1-
01468-0.
That's not enough numbers.
Uh,
Is it zeros, 01468
01468, yes.
-08?
Vincent, how dare you be
A
late?
Cowlitz case?
It is I believe it's a Cowlitz case, but it just has.
It's a 16, okay, yeah. They kind of mix and match them, okay. Thank you very much. Anything you'd like to say, Mr.
Welcome
Holland,
back.
before I sentence you?
Also, just for the record, we would ask that you waive the fines and fees under Ramirez.
Oh, like a tobacco pipe.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm aware of that you can go against the recommendation, and if I get out, that this can be like sort of hung over my head, and if I commit a crime or break the law at all, I'm aware that you can reopen this case and give me any amount of time that you want to.
Okay.
I have really good intentions when I get out of here, Your Honor. I have a 7-year-old daughter that I got to wake up and take to school every day and make breakfast.
She ain't been to school in
take care
9
of.
days.
She's with my grandma right now, so it's really important that I get out. I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna do the right thing. I have a job waiting for me, the whole 9 yards.
Paper bill.
I'm just asking that you please go with this.
I've never heard the
recommendation.
whole
I'm
9
aware
yards.
If I screw up at all, that you can hammer me as much time you want, and I know that.
Open
and I'm
invitation to
gonna do
hammer
good.
him, Judge.
It'll be a good incentive to have over my head, to keep me on the straight and narrow. Because I'm
good
aware if
stuff.
I get in any law.
I never was
trouble
good at
all,
drawing
you can come back into this case and
arms
give me
creed,
as
but
much
this
time as
was
you want.
him
So I'm just
Riley
asking,
out on the
Your Honor,
town.
that you go with the recommendation, let me get out and take care of my daughter and make sure she
Now
goes
that
to
arm's
school.
perfect.
And yeah, I got a job waiting for me with my dad in the whole 9 yards. So I'm gonna.
Is that
do
the name
good
of the
when I get
business?
out.
Because he keeps
That's all
saying
I
that.
have to say.
Whole
Thank
9
you.
yards.
Okay.
Whole 9 yards.
I'll
That's
follow the
free advertising.
recommendation, 3 days credit for time served concurrent with cause number 16-1014680-0.
9 days
months
in.
Suspended for 24 months and $5,000.
Is he a felon maybe? And he had
Suspended
that?
for 24 months. On
He has
conditions
to.
that you have no criminal
Has
law
to.
violation.
Did we miss something?
On any act
They didn't say it though.
committed after imposition of sentence today. I think you've got a theft charge that's still pending out of Longview Muni Court.
Ah,
You get a
there we
conviction
go.
in that, or you're neg driving out of Longview, it's not a violation of this judgment and sentence. Only if you do something after today do you get convicted of, but I come back and spend time here, so.
And I got those dates written down, Your Honor. I'm gonna make sure that I call in on Zoom and be responsible
Yeah.
and handle all that.
Yeah, what you're
Okay.
supposed to do.
Well,
Don't brag
you're done
about
with
it.
this one.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You bet.
David Powell, Your Honor.
3 days, brass knuckles. That's
But he's been in for 9.
oh, is that how many? I
You
thought it
are
was
David
three.
Sean Powell.
No, he
is
got
that
there on the
correct?
9th. He's
Oh,
been there
God.
since the 9th.
Mr. Powell, the court issued a warrant for your arrest when you failed to appear on January 4th for arraignment on a charge of failure to obey a police officer. issued a warrant for your arrest. I'm gonna quash the warrant at this point in time. As I said before, I did find probable cause to hold you to answer this. The misdemeanor, maximum potential sentence of 90 days in jail and $1,000 fine. You do have the right to be represented by
Glad
an
you made
attorney
it
of
back,
your own
Chris.
choosing
Good to
on
see
this
you.
charge. And
Hey,
if you
hey, hey.
an attorney will be appointed at no expense to you. You're presumed innocent on this charge unless the prosecutor proves the elements beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a speedy trial. That's 60 days from arraignment if you're in custody on the matter, or 180 days from readiness if you're out of custody on the matter. You have the right to a jury trial. You have a right to hear and question prosecuted witnesses. You have a right to testify on your own behalf. Call
He's
your
got
own
a very
witnesses.
shifty
Compel
looking face,
witnesses to
Creed.
appear at no expense to you. You have the right to remain silent. Your exercise of that right can't be used against you. You have the right to disqualify up to one judge if you do so in a timely manner. And if you are found guilty after a trial, you will have the right to appeal, but you'd have to file a notice of appeal in a timely manner also. The guilty plea waives all of these rights except the right to counsel. And if you're not a citizen, you have the right to consult with an
I
immigration.
don't know why I
attorney.
can't just say that to everybody in the
Criminal
room
conviction
one
for a
time.
Used to, they just play a video in most
result in
places, and
deportation, exclusion,
everybody
deportation,
watches it,
denial of
and
naturalization
they
under
say,
the
"Did you
laws
watch
of
the
the
video
United
and
States."
understand
Yeah.
it?" Yep.
It's like we do.
All right, here we go.
Represent you in this case. I'm going to appoint the Grim Law Group to represent you. We're going to enter a not guilty plea on your behalf.
Grim
I need
Law
to
Group.
fill out an attorney application.
Yes, they never,
file it
I don't think
before
they
the
ever
pre-trial.
said. I
Yeah,
guess I
I'll
could
hear
understand
from
if it was
the
a friend one,
prosecutor on
maybe
bail
the
and conditions release,
press.
Maybe.
and I will hear from the defense.
Your Honor, I'm asking for the standard release conditions. I will note that he has a warrant out of district court.
Thank you.
It looks like the case was dismissed. Luke has a warrant out of
Thank you,
Superior
T.
Court. At this point, and Mr. Powell has a long history of not appearing for cases that I've had with him. I would ask for bail in the amount of $250.
That'll teach them.
Ms. Gamble.
He
Your
says
Honor, we're
no
asking
to
the
him.
Court to release Mr. Powell on his personal recognizance.
Ella.
Looking at JABS, it looks like this was originally scheduled for an out of custody arraignment.
The prosecutor
It got
asked
moved
for
to in custody because he was in
$250.
custody, and then it was determined
$250.
that
She
he
wants
would be
recognizance.
out before the 10 o'clock docket. I don't know
I mean,
the timing of that.
basically the same
It's
thing.
possible he
Pretty
was
much.
that there were issues getting to the courthouse if he was just released moments prior. He has a local address. He's also being held by drug court, and I don't believe the facts of this case indicate that he's any danger to the community.
Damn drug court.
How dare you?
Okay, and I did note some of those things that you mentioned, Ms. Campbell, although the defendant didn't do anything to contact us. I'm gonna set bail at $100.
I was in custody of drug court, Your Honor, whenever I was supposed to be in court getting a COVID shot for treatment. I just got
If you
should probably just shut up.
Once again, bail at $100.
That's a death
I'll set a
sentence for this
pre-trial for
man.
January 31st at 1 p.m. Readiness for February 14th at 2 p.m. and a jury trial for
100
March
bones.
3rd. at
Can you
9
go
a.m.
and get a
Conditions, have no criminal law
Can you 2%
violations.
on that, or is that
Any
just
change in
cash
the rest of the
for
court clerk and your attorney? You do get out, you gotta meet with your attorney before the pre-trial. And I gotta have that court appointed attorney out. I'll send over this paperwork for you, sir. Thank you.
Richard Roulette, Your Honor.
No, we're playing roulette now, baby. Watch out.
Ms. Campbell, could you speak with your compatriots about using a full name guilty plea form?
Compatriot.
I will let Mr. Frazier know.
Okay, thank
Your
you. very much.
compatriots, please.
Compatriots.
You are
He hates them.
Richard Stephen Roulette, is that correct? Mr. Roulette, I have a statement dependent upon plea of guilty to a charge of interlock violation and on a separate cause number, a statement dependent upon plea of guilty to a charge of driving while suspended in the second degree.
Oh,
You get a chance to review each one of these guilty.
heir to the
pleas
roulette
attorney.
fortune, by the way.
The way I
Do
see
you
it.
understand them?
I did.
Did you authorize your attorney to put your signature on them?
Absolutely.
The elements of ignition interlock violation are that you operated a motor vehicle
If not, she
within
needs
the city of Kelso that did not have an ignition interlock, when under law you were required to have an interlock in any vehicle that you drove.
He
You understand
drives,
those are the
seriously.
Elements of that.
Was he drunk
crime.
when he drove?
Yeah, I do, absolutely, and I did drive.
We're not, we'll get to that part in a
Yep,
second.
me. I did it, Your
You
Honor.
understand that the elements of
No more
vi-
comments any
of,
longer than that. It fits
driving while
perfectly.
suspended in the
Look at
second degree are
Wait
that
a-
you operated a motor vehicle within the city of Kelso while you're privileged to
Lovely.
do so was suspended and not immediately reinstatable. Do you understand those are the elements of that crime? By pleading guilty, you're giving up the right to a speedy public trial in front of an impartial jury. You're giving up the right to remain silent. You're giving up the right to hear and question prosecuted witnesses. You're giving up your right to testify on your own behalf, to call your own
See,
witnesses,
God rides early.
to compel witnesses to appear at no expense to you. You're giving up your right to force the prosecutor to prove each and every element of the crime charge beyond a reasonable doubt. And you are giving up your right to appeal from determination of guilt.
Watch
These
this
are your
one through
trial
the
rights.
over to
You
you, George.
understand? You're giving them up by pleading guilty.
I hear him go through the same thing over and over.
Maximum potential sentence is 364 days in jail. and
Yeah, whenever you're done with this, we got double barrel appearances going on in Georgia right now.
Prosecutor's recommendation is 10 days with 354 suspended on each fines and fees. And they're asking that I run the time concurrent for a total of 10 days. You understand? That's the recommendation. You understand also, I am not bound by anybody's recommendation. I can give you 364 days in jail plus 364 days in jail. You understand that? Okay.
He's not gonna do that.
Your license is going to be suspended for more time as a result of these convictions. Your ignition interlock requirement is going to be extended. And if
Time
you're
for a
not
VIP
citizen,
moped, my dude.
you could be deported, denied naturalization, or excluded from admission as a result of these convictions. Do you understand that?
That's right.
Last
Go to Canada
one
now while
is
you can.
that, you will lose the right to possess a commercial driver's license as a result of the conviction for driving while suspended. Do you understand that one also? Then
Damn.
to the charge of
You're
ignition
doing all
interlock
right.
violation. How do you plead guilty or not guilty?
You're just now telling us about this?
And to the charge of driving while suspended in the second degree. How do you plead guilty or not guilty? I make these pleas freely and voluntarily.
Yes, Your Honors.
Matt,
Does anybody threaten you to
No,
get
no,
you
no,
to
no,
plead
no.
guilty?
No.
Anybody made any promises to get you to plead guilty other than the prosecutor's promised recommendations?
No.
Okay. I have a statement that says on April 12, 2021 in Kelso, Washington, I drove a motor vehicle without a functioning ignition interlock after having a notation attached to my driving record stating that I could only lawfully drive a motor vehicle with functioning ignition interlock. Sorry. Is that true?
If you're driving one and you don't
And I
have
have a
one in
statement
it,
that
will
says
you
on
just
June
be as
23rd,
careful as
2021 in Kelso,
possible?
Washington, I drove a motor vehicle
Fig.
while my license was suspended in suspended or revoked status. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was not immediately reinstatable at that point in time also. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I'll find a good factual basis for each one of these pleas, knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently entered. I'll accept them. Find the defendant guilty of each one of these offenses on sentencing Mr. 5.
I'm asking the court to follow the recommendation as submitted.
Oh,
Skip
I'm
from the
glad
defense.
you are okay then.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're asking that you follow the recommendation and post 10 days on each with credit for time served and run those concurrent. We would also ask that you waive the fines and fees under Ramirez. Mr. Roulette has been in on these since the 9th, I believe.
I got it.
With a good day, good time day, he would be out today.
tell Sassy again. We
Mr.
say
Roulette,
hi.
is there anything you'd like to say before I
Damn it,
sentence
Sassy.
you?
Sorry to hear that.
Does this include the global resolution that drops the other two off? This was a plea that I signed?
The only thing that we're doing here is we're pleading to these two charges. If there's other charges, nobody's mentioned them to me.
Okay.
Don't-
all right.
Don't bring
Hang
it
on one
up,
second.
for
Hang on a
God's
second.
sakes.
Right.
What about that murder charge, Your
Yeah.
Honor?
Looks
Huh?
like he has a couple of county cases, county charges.
Yeah, this doesn't involve those county charges.
When I talked to,
Yes, it
Fraser, he
does. It
said
takes-
that he did a global resolution.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is
That sucks if he did, though.
the deal that you're getting on these two cases is just what I've stated. You still want to plead guilty on both of these?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say?
I was planning on
How about
getting
keep
out
your mouth
the
shut?
trips. I've run into a bad sinus infection and I was.
Nobody
put up
cares.
strained a couple muscles in my back.
Got a horrible UTI, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you, Mary.
But yeah.
Cranberry
I'm-
juice
I'm
ain't
not
working
pleading
for him,
guilty.
Mary.
I apologize to
Boy.
I'm a little reluctant to follow the
Let's lay me to the bone, Your
recommendation.
Honor.
He's got 4 or 5 prior driving while suspended, and the last driving while suspended too, City of Kelso reduced it to an infraction.
Ooh.
But it is
It's your
10
lucky
days,
day.
so I will impose 10 days on each count with 354 suspended, a $5,000 fine on each count. With all of it suspended, I'll run them concurrent, credit for
Seems
time
pretty decent,
served.
no, I mean,
Conditions
yeah, he's
are
getting
have no
away.
criminal law violations.
No
on any
problem.
act committed after imposition of sentence today, and don't drive without a valid license and insurance, and ignition interlock. if
Like we
required
told you the
for your
last
license.
5 times.
Send those papers.
right?
5 times.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it's
I
time to
think
cut
that was our
ties with my man, put him in for a year.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll send the jail out.
I mean, 5,000 on each one. That's a
I
pretty
haven't
big hit,
Ashley.
but again, that's just, I don't know.
That's all he does. He habitually drives without a license.
Look at that printer.
Yeah.
I hope
We
that
don't
thing's
typically
still
All right,
have
so now
both
with the jail, I can pick up
courtroom
the codefendant cases.
jails at the same time
ma'am.
right here in this
All
courtroom.
right.
Your Honor, I did send an email out both to the state and also the sheriff's office about a sensitive matter regarding.
I understand. So I will, they have requested to take one of the co-defendants last, so I will do all of those except for the one that they requested to take last. All right?
Thank you.
So let me get this one pulled up.
It's all warm in court today over here.
See that.
Ladies rule. Miss Bouchard up there.
All right, we will start. This is case number, there are 11 co-defendants in
I'd
this
like to see
case. This is
Joyce
case
Clay. I
number
like-
23SO01-000193. The first defendant I have is Mr. Anthony Baggett.
Whoa, Judge.
God.
We don't
Good
use that kind of
afternoon, Mr.
language.
Baggett. You are
Hey,
charged with
you
2
talk-
warrants, 22W000866
that's the judge,
and
not us.
867 with unlawful acts of violence in a penal institution and criminal attempt aggravated assault.
Uh-oh.
Have you had a chance to go over the charges with your client, Ms. Sandlin?
By the way, Mr. Baggett sounds like he attacked somebody in jail and tried to do something to him, Creed.
Sounds that way.
Damn it, Baggett.
I have, Your Honor, and we would waive formal reading of the warrants for all of the co-defendants.
All right, thank you. So your attorney indicates that she has had a chance to go over the charges with you and is waiving a formal reading of the charges into the record. Do you understand the charges against you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Standing up. in the back?
Okay, so I will
We got
hear from
microphones
the
above
state
them.
first on bond in this case.
Thank you, Judge. The state's requesting a no bond status in
Bravo.
this case. I had an opportunity to review his criminal history, and I see 2 cases. Although they are marked as juvenile, they are very serious in nature. The first is 2 counts of armed robbery, kidnapping, home invasion, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, 3 counts, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession or receipt of a firearm by a convicted felon or
Not quite the record.
probationer. And his second case is a murder and an armed robbery, Judge. Based off of the violent natures offenses that I do see.
Can we
in his
get no
criminal
bail?
history and the allegations listed in the warrant, the state's concerned about the likelihood of reoffending and for the safety of the community if he was to be released on bond. So the state's requesting a no bond in this case.
We have to get an O-bond, right? My dude's up for all those charges they rattled off to start with, and then home invasion, all that stuff. Now we found out he's got a murder charge hanging over his head. It's got to be no bail. Come on, no bail.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Sandlin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Baggett is 18 years old. He currently lives in Decatur. He's born and raised here in the Atlanta area. He's got his mom
Ruined his
here,
life
his sister
already.
here. He does have family and ties to this community. He attended high school in Union City. And Your Honor, we are asking the court to set a reasonable bond in this case, given how old he is.
No, don't do that.
All right, I do take his age into account, but I was given at least 3 major felony pending cases
I
that
love you,
he
Chief.
has at this point, including one that was riot in a penal institution. So I am going to deny bond at this point, and I will let Superior Court determine that bond.
Thank
Sir,
you.
you may have a chance to speak, but everybody needs to understand that sometimes something you say that you think may be helping you may be used against you later in your criminal case. So Ms. Sandlin, would you like to speak to him first before he says anything?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, maybe the best thing would be if I can give the courtroom a call so that I may have a confidential conversation with him. I'm just not sure exactly what the nature of what he
Okay,
wants.
well, we can't, so basically it's just
No
admonishing
sexy
him that
talk.
anything he says can be used against him. Is this a question about your bond, sir?
So I'm trying to let y'all know that I no longer have the murder case.
Okay, I didn't see a murder. I was not given a murder. So I'll let y'all know that. I was not given a murder. I have a pending armed robbery criminal gang. I have 3 major felony pending charges, and that's what I'm basing it on, and none of them were murder, but they were
Jesus.
other major felonies. Okay?
Good to see.
So, all right, thank you, sir. The Superior Court, your attorney will be with you to file a motion before Superior Court, and we will set your case down for a preliminary hearing in the
Sounds
meantime.
good.
All right. Okay. Next, we have, let me get that.
He's,
And I'll just do that.
she wasn't hearing that charge. She was just
signed-
hearing about the fight in the penal house.
And I'll get these signed after the denials. I'll get signed after
Starting a riot.
we're done handling everybody, so I don't hold everybody up. All right. Position 2 is 2023. I'm sorry, we don't have position 2. Let me get to the next co-defendant. Position 3 is Maurice Fidel Benford.
Yes, and maybe we.
I'm
handle
sorry,
that.
that's the one. Okay, so that's been asked to handle last, so I will come back to him.
Maurice is last.
We'll come back to you, Mr. Benford.
It was a peaceful protest.
Next, we have Mr. Boykin.
Boykin?
Good afternoon, Mr. Boykin. You are charged in the same case number with the same 2 warrants and charges: unlawful acts of violence in a penal institution and criminal attempt aggravated assault.
He was
and warrant
involved
numbers
in-
23
he was in the riot, too.
874 and 875.
Mary's here today.
Your attorney
And
indicates
Mary.
she's had a chance to go over the charges with you and is waiving a formal reading of the charges into the record. Do you understand the 2 charges against you, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I will hear from the state on bond.
Thank you, Judge. The state's requesting a no bond status in this case. Judge, I see a conviction for aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony from December of last year with first offender pending, an opened aggravated battery, an open arson in the first 2 counts, unlawful
Arson? You
acts
don't-
of violence.
you don't
in
hear
penal
much of that.
institute, 2 counts, an open kidnapping, Judge, as well as a juvenile criminal history.
Now remember, he's just here on the riot, just like the last guy, just here on the riot. But we're getting all his former crimes and things that he's in for and things that he's up on charges for. That's why the other guy was possibly in for murder. He says it's been dropped, but that's not what we're hearing. Mary, quite contrary.
Based off of the violent nature of these violent charges listed in the warrants, and as well as the violent pending charges, the state doesn't believe he's a good candidate for bond.
I like that.
There's a likelihood of reoffending before trial, and for the safety of the community, we're requesting a no bond status.
All right, Ms. Sandlin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Boykin is 19. He's got lots of family and friends in the area, including his mother, his sister, family friends. If upon release from the jail, he would live with his mom and sister in Decatur. He was before he was arrested, he was enrolled at Columbia High School. Your Honor, we're asking the court to set a reasonable bond in this case. He had bond set on the other cases and would be able to be released.
Ms. Broussard, do you show that he's on probation for that recent first offender sentence?
Judge, it looks like from what I was able to look at the case this morning, it did look like there was probation attached to that conviction. The conviction date was December 27th, 2022.
Okay, well, given that recent conviction combined with the other pending serious violent felony charges, I'm also going to deny bond in this case and let Superior Court that has the other cases hear the motion for bond in this case. I find that there is a significant risk to the community and of possibly reoffending and committing a felony. All right, thank you, sir. And we will reserve your preliminary hearing. Okay, and then let me pull up our next gentleman in this case.
Snow?
Because this be another
They're not
riot
in order on the
contender?
warrant.
How big was this riot? Whoa, language in there.
There we go. All right. Next, we have Mr.
Nah.
Marion Butler.
The black eyes. Thank you, man.
Good afternoon, Mr. Butler. You are charged in the same case number with the same charges, unlawful acts and criminal attempt, aggravated assault. The warrant numbers are 23W000388. I'm sorry, 882 and
Diet Dr. Pepper is
883.
as good as regular.
Your
Diet.
attorney indicates she's had a chance to go over the
Pretty
charges
much.
with you and is waiving a formal reading of those charges into the record. Keep your mask on, please, sir.
Oh,
Damn, she quick.
If you do get released, we want to make sure you don't take anything home to your families. Thank you.
might be worse things than that coming.
All right. And your attorney indicates she's had a chance to go over the charges with you. Do you understand the charges at this time, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'll hear from the state on bond.
Thank you, Judge. I see one cycle in his criminal history, which is an indicted case in Superior Court.
I saw
for
Bishop
murder,
shout out,
felony
so I figured I
murder,
better
aggravated
bring him in.
assault, and possession
That's
of a
his wife's
firearm, or in the
face, by
commission
the
of a
way.
felony. Judge, that case number is 21C63 or CR, I'm sorry, 3077. Based off of him having serious violent charges that are currently indicted, and the facts and circumstances alleged in the warrant, the state's concerned about the likelihood of reoffending and the safety of the community if he was going to be granted a bond. So the state's requesting a no bond status.
All right, Ms. Sandlin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Butler lives in Lawrenceville. He has his mother here, his father here. He's got a brother here in the Atlanta area. So he does have family and ties to the community. He's 20 years old. He attended Clarkston High School, and he's working he'd like to get and is working towards getting his GED program, his GED. I apologize. He's also worked in the past at warehouses. He's had some retail jobs, also fast food and other restaurants.
He's worked in the
And we are
past, Creed.
asking the court to set a bond in this case as well.
Okay. So Mr. Butler does not have any convictions at this point. Is that correct?
Judge, I only see the one cycle on his criminal history that I have, and that's for his indicted case.
Okay, and it is one pending case. So he's in a little bit different position than the others that I went over. So I am going to set bond in the amount.
Come on, 10,000.
Let me get it in here,
Yeah, let's
and
do
then I'll
10.
let you know.
Should let him.
And I'm not going to add any special conditions since they are in the jail. I will let the jail handle any separate issues and separations.
It's crazy that all these people were in a riot together, and we got them all in one
All
little
right,
spot.
I'm going
right
to
there.
set bond
Right.
in the amount of,
Seems safe, right?
how old is your client?
20.
20, Your Honor.
Okay, so he has no conviction. So at this point, I'm going to set bond in the amount of $7,500.
Yeah.
Bottom.
It will be $2,500 on the unlawful acts
You
of
were
the penal
all over.
institution and $5,000 on the criminal
He is
attempt to commit
pumped
aggravated
to hear
assault,
that.
and it will be a regular bond. All right, and there are no special conditions. Are y'all going to reserve his preliminary hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, sir, this takes care of your case. You have a $7,500 regular bond in this case, and you will have your preliminary hearing scheduled and may have any future bond modifications before Superior Court if needed. All right?
All right.
Thank you.
He's always going to be over my shoulder
right.
until the name of the channel's changed.
I think I have that signed and saved in there. All right, our next individual in this case. I'll get him pulled up on my calendar.
Have we? Listen, we've been over here before. Like, we know this room, but I don't remember her. This judge, I don't even know how to say her name.
No, not the judge, but definitely the jail looks very familiar. We've seen
Well,
these,
00868
those two guys that do
869
nothing. playing on
For
the phones.
unlawful acts of
Like Candy
violence in a
Crush.
penal institution and criminal attempt to commit aggravated assault. Your attorney indicates she's had a chance to go over the charges with you and is waiving
Thank
a
you,
formal
Lola.
reading of the charges
Thank
into
you,
the
thank you.
record. Do you understand the charges against you, sir?
Now,
All right, thank you. I will hear from the state first.
I thought he said nah.
Thank you, Judge. The state's requesting
Nah.
a no bond status in this case. When looking at his criminal history, I saw 6 cycles. There is a battery against a female who's pregnant conviction from 2015.
Oh, hell, they about to start up something
An
again, man. They
obstruction
all
and
are
simple
doing something.
battery and family violence battery conviction from 2018. A cruelty to children, 3 counts.
No.
Or cruelty to children,
No,
third,
just
2
straight
counts.
Mikey show.
And criminal
I
trespass,
get it
2
going
counts from
sometime.
2017. as well as a burglary, aggravated stalking, family violence, battery conviction from 2020 that was first offender was used.
I thought that's
It
what he
appears
meant.
he's still on probation, as well as open misdemeanors. Judge, he does have a violent criminal history. It does appear that he is still on probation. So
I'm
based
guessing
off
every
of
single
his
one of
criminal
these guys
history and
were in
facts
the
and
riot.
circumstances alleged
That's
in the
why we've
warrant,
got the
And
the
that's
double
state is
barrel.
concerned about the likelihood of reoffending
Special
and the
hearing.
safety of the community.
That's why they're not in
So
the
we're requesting a
history
no
of
bond
hearing.
status.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Ms. Sandlin?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Mr. Caldwell lives on Boulder Crest Road in Atlanta. He lives with his mom and his 3 kids. They're 10 months, 6 years old, and a 7-year-old as
3
well.
kids.
He's lived there at Boulder Crest Road for about 6 years.
20,
He's
right?
28 years old. He's born and
28,
raised
okay.
here in Atlanta.
Oh,
Different guy.
He has
It's like what?
his
Doing
his
some math
mom. He's
there.
gave me good contact information for his mom. He works as a UPS he works as a package handler at UPS. Before
Now
that, he
he's a
worked
package
at a
handler in
restaurant
prison.
as a cook, Nina's and Rappy's, making pizza. He attended Maynard Jackson High School and earned his GED in 2017.
Good enough.
He has 6 kids total, and he actually has all of his kids, all 6 of them, on the weekends. So he's got plenty of ties to the community. Your Honor, we are obviously I haven't been able to run and verify any of the criminal history that the state is saying, but Your Honor, we would ask the court to set a bond in this case.
6
All right,
kids. 28 years old. 6.
can you confirm for me, Ms. Broussard, what he is on bond for? I mean, on probation for?
Yes, Judge. And Judge, it does appear he also has an open robbery, criminal attempt, and an armed robbery case as well.
Of course he does.
That is the information that was given to me. Hold on, let me.
Just on the
I do not
weekends,
have that.
guys.
You
Just
have
on the
it.
weekends,
Is that
though.
for
Let's
Mr.
not go
Caldwell?
crazy.
It's on the weekends.
It's 17 CR 1603.
Made by this package handler, Mayor.
Okay, and can you tell me what he is on probation for?
Yes, Judge.
Probably domestic violence or something, the way it sounded.
Well, I said that against kids.
Judge, from looking at this case, it appears that it is burglary, aggravated stalking, and family violence battery. The disposition
Bishop's
date
wife.
was 2020, and he was sentenced to 1 year and then 4 years on probation.
3 full-time, 3
And I
part-time.
don't see that probation was terminated.
So he's still on probation. So we probably
Mr.
shouldn't
Sard,
let him
can you
out.
verify 17 CR 1603 in DeKalb County?
Yes. 17 CR 1603.
I just pulling that up on Odyssey. I don't see him listed as one of the defendants in that.
Okay.
How old is he now?
28.
He's 28, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
Yes, 6 kids. 3 at his mom's, 3 that just get there on the weekends.
Anything else you guys would like to know? Just ask us.
All right, well, here's the issue. If he's still on probation, I have to be able to make a finding that he is not a threat to the community before I can consider and set bond. And based on his recent history,
No bond.
and the assertion that he is on probation still
Yeah, he's fine
in the
with
pending
that.
case, I can't make that determination. So y'all may have that hearing before Superior Court. I'm going to deny bond at this time. Based that he is a significant threat to the community, as well as if he's still on probation, I cannot make a determination given the history that he's not a threat at this time. So y'all may file for a bond motion before the Superior Court, and we will reserve your preliminary hearing in this case at this time.
Got a fresh face.
Yes, Your Honor.
tattoo over here.
And may I just
Let's
clarify
do
with
it.
the state which the case
See
number
what's,
that he's on?
Yes, ma'am.
happening over here.
Thank you. Mr. Gonzalez, this is your arraignment. What I have here is a felony complaint. This alleges, let me make sure I do the right page here.
Could get crazy.
This alleges that on or about January 17th, 2023, at 722 Kaywood, City of Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan, in count 1, Home invasion first degree, that you did break and enter or did enter without permission a dwelling located at 722 Kaywood, and
They
while
were saying that
entering, president, or
it was
exiting,
broken
did commit an
yesterday too, Dallas.
assault or malicious destruction of personal property, 1,000 to 20,000, a
too.
felony. And while entering, president, or exiting the dwelling, Alifa Herrera was lawfully present therein. This would normally be a felony punishable by 20 years and or $5,000. However, I have a habitual offender second offense notice that states take notice that the defendant was previously convicted of a felony or attempt to commit a felony in the on or about August 12, 2015. He was convicted of the offense of home invasion second degree in the 30th Circuit Court, Brigham County. Therefore, defendant is subjected to enhanced penalties of 1.5 times the maximum sentence on the primary offense or a lesser term. The maximum penalty cannot be less than the maximum term for a first conviction. So that 20-year felony becomes a 30-year felony. Do you understand the charge and the possible penalties, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You have the right to have an attorney in this matter. Ms. Shelton is representing you.
Mine's
You have
fine.
the
It just
right to
flipped
have a
from,
trial that could be by
not
jury.
alive.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing will be used against you in court. You have the right to have an attorney present with you during any questioning by law enforcement. Do you understand these rights, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Well, you won't
do
see a
you wish
difference
to have a
because
public
if you're on
defender,
top, you
help
won't
you
know
with
what you're
these
missing
case-
on
this
lot.
case?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Are you guys on
And because you have a felony charge, you have the right
Android
to
or-
have a preliminary examination. That's a hearing where the government must bring some evidence to demonstrate
Creed, I was
probable
able to
cause believe
zoom
a
in on
felony
his
occurred
face. I
and
know he's got
probable cause to believe that
tattoos
you are
under
the
his
person who
eyes. I
committed
think we
this
can
felony.
read them.
Your preliminary examination is set for February 3rd at 8:30 a.m. here in my court. That's an in-person proceeding. We will also have a probable cause conference on January 27th at 8:30 a.m. in my court. And since you have a history of failure to appear in your other case, that will also be an in-person proceeding.
Haha. When I get a chance, can I say something, please?
Oh, please.
I don't know if your lawyer wants you to say something.
by all
So
means.
hold on.
We love
Feel
it when
free.
you talk.
I don't know. Worked all right for me.
Are you currently on probation or parole in any court?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is the address on Westmoreland still the address I should be using for you?
That's never been my address.
Okay, then what address should I be using?
4143 Wood Creek Lane.
I'm sorry, say the street name again.
Wood Creek Lane.
Wood
Wood
Creek,
Lane.
one
Is
word.
that in Lansing?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the zip there?
48911.
He's in a
Is
lot
there
of
an
trouble.
apartment number or anything I should be using with
A
that?
lot.
No, ma'am.
What's a phone number to reach you at?
517-203-6685.
And your client wants to say something. I don't know if you want to,
Why not? Let him go.
give him some advice, allow him to say.
Dox
I don't
him,
know what
baby.
topic this is on.
I don't know either, and I don't think it's appropriate for him to address
We
the
still got a
court.
newspaper there.
Okay. Ms. Shelton, on bond in this matter.
Do you want me to address bond now or once you've arraigned him on the bond violation and?
Sure, I can do that. All right. The other case we have is State of Michigan versus Jose Gonzalez 2203375 SM, and I think this
Yeah, a little
file
something.
Beautiful tattoo right there above his eyebrow too.
I think he's just trying to.
has multiple issues.
I think he's just trying to sound tough, actually. Or maybe he
Firstly,
is.
there
I
is
don't
a
know.
bench warrant in this file for failure to appear at the probable cause conference back on
Yeah, censor for your pleasure.
December 16th, 2022. And then on top of that, we have 2 alleged bond violations, sir.
He's about
What
to
you
lose
need to
those
know is
Puma
that you were
endorsements.
placed on bond on December 2nd in this case. You were given conditions of bond, which included no contact with Alifa Herrera.
Oh,
If you violated
Alifa.
conditions of bond, then of course, your bond could be revoked and you
Vicky?
could be in contempt of court, for which you could be
Vicky.
sentenced to up to 93 days in jail and or $7,500 in fines, separate and apart from that which you already face. You have the right to have an attorney for your bond violation, and I don't see that a public defender has been assigned to you yet in
Phone
this
says
case,
ringing.
but we can put down that you're making application again.
He was
Uh,
denied.
Okay. I don't know if his financial circumstances have changed or if any reason for the denial has
Oh, let
changed.
me ask
but that's
Bishop.
something to consider. in light of
Is
the
this
fact that
financial? No.
He has pretty serious.
He said no.
circumstances in here.
my job while being in here.
Okay.
Shocking.
Well, then, Ms. Schultz, that probably should be added to his app.
Did he work for a family member, you think?
Okay, you should also.
Whole
note
9
that you
yards,
have the right to have a
lawn
trial on
maintenance
contempt of
service.
court, not by a jury, but just by
Christie?
a judge. However, it would have to be proven beyond a
69,
reasonable doubt
nice.
that you did in fact violate.
Actually making your
a
own money,
court
Lisa.
order. I have
There won't
two
be any more.
alleged bond violations. The first one is dated December 24th, 2022.
Fair enough.
This alleges that Ms. Herrera made a complaint that you made contact with her on or about that approximate day. And
woman
also,
alone.
looks like there's allegations that you violated the order that you not assault, harass, intimidate, molest, woman, or threaten her on that day. There's an additional violation alleged.
Thank you,
And I
Jesus.
believe it's for last night. So the same conduct that is alleged to have resulted in the additional home invasion first charge.
Best time
is
to
the
do it.
same
He just had a
conduct
gift
that
he was trying to
was
give
a
her.
Violation of your bond.
Yeah.
Because it is
Very
alleged
good.
that you
Little
were
something, something.
having contact with Miss Herrera and that you were at her residence in violation of the conditions of bond. Ms. Shelton, are you requesting that the bond violations be set for hearing?
She's pulling her
I
own
am,
hair.
please.
All right, looks like the clerk is setting them for the same time as preliminary.
With all of this
examination,
and the
which is
craziness, I would be too.
February 3rd, 2023 at 8:30
There's-
a.m.
It's so complex. There's just so many things going on here. I mean,
multi-tiered, Creed.
it
Multi-tiered.
would take you forever to get all this stuff cleared up.
Well, that's why
Imagine
they're going to drop a lot of stuff. Just be ready.
So as for the issue of bond at this time, Ms. Shelton.
Yes, thank you. I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Gonzalez this morning. This morning, he indicated he was employed at Amazon. I guess since then, he's been terminated due to his current incarceration status.
Oh.
He's indicated to me that his only failure to appear is on the felony matter. That's his first time failing to appear in court. He indicated that there was some miscommunication with the Zoom instructions that he received, and that resulted in his failure to appear. Nonetheless, he's lived in Lansing all of his life. He does have family ties here. He indicated some minimal
What would they
prior
do,
criminal
baby,
history.
without us?
Given the
Na,
fact
sha,
that
na,
there's
na,
a PA 53 violation that's resulted in a new felony case, I don't think it's appropriate for me to ask for a personal recognizance bond. So I would ask the court to consider a low 10%. Thank you.
Well, we'll start with the new alleged conduct. Looking at the court rule.
Someone
on
in my
pretrial
neighborhood is
release,
mowing
NCR
grass right now.
6.106. The court is permitted to deny pretrial release to a defendant charged with committing a violent felony. And at the time of the commission of the violent felony, defendant was on probation or parole or release pending trial for another violent felony. If the court finds that proof of defendant's guilt is evident or the presumption is great.
Go enjoy that.
It is a difficult one because it is no
Hang in
doubt
there.
that home invasion first degree is a violent felony and that Mr. Gonzalez was on bond for a violent felony at the time.
Yeah, JG, that-
Further, it is alleged that he violated his bond several times. As for his issue with Zoom, it's my understanding that he may have logged in to talk to the court for Zoom, was informed that this judicial officer was unavailable and given information to log in to talk to Judge Flores, and he just simply did not. And he didn't show up to his preliminary exam after that date. So he may have missed Zoom on that other date for whatever reason. He didn't understand the instructions he was given, but then he did not follow up with his next court date. So I find that to be unconvincing.
Got him.
So I guess rather than deny bond, at this moment, I'll set bond, but it will be $200,000 cash. Release following conditions.
How's that
You
feel?
are not to leave the state without permission of the court. You're not to
Golly.
commit any
Oh,
crimes. You're not to possess a firearm,
wow.
ammunition, or dangerous weapon. You are to report to pretrial services within
Damn.
48 hours of
Hope
your
he saved all
release.
those Amazon
You're not
checks.
to engage in
I
any
didn't see that
assaultive or
coming.
threatening behavior. You're not to consume
No.
alcohol or illegal
Oh my
controlled
God.
substances. You're not to engage in harassing, assaulting, intimidating, or stalking behavior. Specifically,
Thank
do
you,
not
leather and
assault,
lashes.
harass, intimidate, beat, molest, wound, or threaten Alifa
I had to actually
Herrera.
go into work today.
You are not to have any direct or indirect contact with Alifa Herrera whatsoever. You're not to be within 2,000 feet of where she lives, works, or goes to school.
It's not gonna stop him.
I'm gonna order
Just
that
know
you
that
not
if
be
he gets
released
out. I don't
without
think he's gonna
a
get out.
contest title
No.
with victim notification if possible.
There's no way he's getting out.
And of course, I'm gonna let the tether company know about the zone surrounding her address.
Minimal criminal history. Let's keep that in mind, right?
It was stacked. That was bull, man. It was just full of one mistake after the other, after the other, after the other.
I didn't see that coming at all, nor did
I'm
he.
pretty sure I'm not gonna be bonding out anytime soon.
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
You mean ever? Go ahead.
Mhm.
Look at me smile a little bit right
So
there, Creed.
that's for the new file.
If he can't get out, I know exactly where he's going right away. Her house.
And then for the failure to appear file with the bond violation,
Wow. That's a doozy.
I know
200.
even
I'm gonna
even at
rename you on the
10%, we're
bond
talking some hefty
violation, so you'll be
money
held
there.
until we address that part of it,
Mm.
and then we'll go from there.
Sure, this unemployed man can afford that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Only. Who's got 20 grand just laying around
Okay.
after just losing your job at the Amazon?
And
Last
one
time I
more
heard, I don't
issue
think he was a
to talk to you about, Mr.
CEO.
Gonzalez, which is just an old non-payment case, and I just want to make sure I transfer that.
See how
address
many?
over.
Do you see how many
What?
tax?
I was actually in here when I was supposed to pay for that ticket or for the fine. I was in here that day when the payment was due.
Let's
A likely
see.
story.
Payment
You
was
should see
due.
Ain't
Well, it
gonna help
was,
you
the
right now,
original
but-
agreement was $400 on December 2nd,
What?
then
And I was
$200 per week thereafter. And then we set a show cause hearing to talk to you about why you didn't follow through. And you didn't show up for your show cause, probably potentially because the address you give us is not the same address each time. So I'm gonna change it.
Yeah,
Back
the
to it.
address was 722 Kwood, where
And
I
he just-
was
Yep.
currently.
And he just
staying.
gave her a new address just a minute ago.
And then I caught the case, so I didn't get the letter in the
Catching
mail
Creed.
because I
Catching
wasn't there.
cases.
Mhm. Okay.
I know some people in the chat. Oh, it's nothing. That's a lot. I wouldn't be getting
So I'm
out.
guessing at this moment, you can't tell me what payment arrangements you can make.
Uh,
Because
I'm not gonna be getting out anytime soon.
not for the moment, at least. Okay.
I don't got
So,
money for bond or anything, so I'm gonna be sitting
Pardon?
until I don't got money for bond or anything, so I'm gonna be sitting until the case is done.
Yeah. Well, I want to check in with you in the future and see if you're still in custody and if we can set a payment arrangement at a future date. So I'm thinking we will set a new show cause hearing to talk to you about it.
Always.
If you're in custody, I'll see you on Polycom. If you're not in custody, I want to see you that day, at least in Zoom, so you can tell me what payment arrangements you propose. So let's set that show cause hearing right now, just for
I doubt
Oh.
him.
like that.
Probably
first
not
week of
at his
February.
rank in the company. Stop.
Nervous
Oh, he's
to
putting
see
your
his nails.
fingers in his mouth. He's biting nasty ass
All right, February
nails.
7 at 2:15. And hopefully by then.
At least it seems like this jail's pretty
have a better
chill. I mean,
idea
look
of
at
what's going
the
on
bailiff
with
back
your
there.
It's true. Yeah, he's been playing Candy Crush for an hour now.
is knee deep in it.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, since you haven't been, we don't know that you're following court orders. It sounds like you might not be. A reminder,
Oh, yo.
you can't have contact even while you're in jail. If you hang up with me and you go call her, two things are gonna happen. One is you could be in contempt of court. You could lose your phone privileges. Your bond could be increased. The other is the prosecutor's listening and they'll use that phone call against you. They may even add additional felony charges. So don't be dumb. Okay?
All right.
All right. Ms. Shelton, anything else from you?
No, Judge.
You're all set.
Yep.
So see you next week, I believe it is. Next week after, somewhere thereabouts.
All righty. Thank you.
I don't think he was. I don't think he thought he was going to have anywhere
There's
near.
no way he expected that. And I'm very surprised and glad, though, that the judge did remind him, hey, don't be getting on the phone.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
What did Grandma do?
Wild Woman Wednesday, everybody.
I was getting ready to go, but
Grandma, you show up in a shirt that says Grandma, you got to be on it.
Versus Laura Lounsbury, 2202978 SM.
What'd she do?
Tiffany Shelton with Ingham County Public Defender's
Comes the
Office
tears.
here on behalf of Miss Lounsbury for
It's
arraignment
coming.
purposes only.
Get ready.
Theft.
And are you Laura Lounsbury?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Lounsbury, this is your arraignment. What I have here is a misdemeanor complaint. This alleges that April 6, 2022, that at 5670 Valencia Boulevard, City of Lansing, Ingham County, Michigan, you did cause physical harm to a child by smacking the child in the face, causing her nose to bleed. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year or probation of up to 5 years. Do you understand the charge and the possible penalty?
Almost, JJ.
Yes.
You have the right to have an attorney in this matter. If you can't afford an attorney, we can see if
Last
the
time
public
Grandma's
defender will
babysitting.
represent you. You have the right to have a trial. That could be by jury. You have the right to see, hear, and question
I don't
all
know.
of the
Some
witnesses
parents take
against you
that
at
chance
trial.
for free babysitter.
You have the right to bring witnesses in your own defense, and you could get a subpoena to make them appear. You have the right to have to testify at
Damn,
your trial if
Grandma.
you wanted to, but if you did not want to testify, the prosecutor could not use your silence against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent unless they can prove that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand these rights so far?
So I don't get out on bond?
That's not all what we talked about so far. I
we
asked
got
you
there
to
yet.
understand you have a right to have a trial, the right to a lawyer, the right to
Yeah, I
confront
think you
witnesses,
got
the
on
right to
bond, you
testify,
what
the
you
right to remain
say.
silent. Did you understand all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want a public defender to represent you?
Slap the kid in the
Yes.
face, made his nose bleed. Good grief, Grandma.
Your case is set for a pretrial hearing. Your pretrial will be January 31st at 10:30 a.m. here in my court. You can conduct that pretrial via Zoom if you'd like to, video conferencing like you see Ms. Shelton doing with me now. But if you can't Zoom that day, don't want to Zoom, your phone doesn't work, you should come to court. You should not miss court for any reason. You understand that?
Yes.
Now, in order to make sure that everyone's safe on bond, I'm not sure what the status is as far as, does the child still reside with you?
Yes.
I was never removed from the home.
And is the address still the Valencia address?
No,
I just love that she has
No.
I can put it in the chat.
She's wearing a grandma shirt and she's in trouble for slapping a kid.
Yeah.
So child's still there.
Never removed.
Oh, thank you.
It's a good question though. If it's some
Is
crappy
there supposed
teenager,
to be
it's
an
much
apartment
different.
number or anything with this address?
Yeah, I need to know the age of the child, really. I do.
No.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. You're absolutely right. A
Zip
couple others in the
48854.
chat said that too. I agree.
Yes.
What's a good phone number to reach you?
517
Mm-hmm.
894
894
1857.
1857.
We're six to call her for those nudes.
Yes, thank you. I had an opportunity to speak with Ms. Lonsbury this morning. She did indicate that the complaining witness does reside with her. The complaining witness was never removed from her house. She's been compliant with Child Protective Services with respect to this case and a separate case that she has. She's living in Mason with family. She has family ties to the Lansing Mason area. She's lived in that general area most of her life. She is working. She does work for Green Acres Assisted Living. She's been there for 1 year.
She about to
She
slap some
indicated
old
some
people.
criminal history, one assaultive crime in particular about 5 years ago. She'd be asking for release on a personal recognizance bond. Thank you.
I bet she'd be asking for that.
I'd be asking for that too.
So you're saying that other family also lives at the Cedar address?
Other family as well as another minor child.
Like what relation are these other family members?
I would defer to Ms. Lounsbury. We didn't get that in depth into the conversation about her family.
Ms. Lounsbury, what relation are the other family
Farm
members who
living is
reside
the
with
life
you?
for me.
My brother, his wife, and their kids and grandkids. Well, mostly
Step-
adults.
Okay.
Stepkid and grandkids. So still no idea what she slapped. She's about to tune up the van at work though. Better keep yourself in
All
line.
right, since the child was not removed from the residence, and I just don't know, I think there's enough other family members around to assure safety. I'm not gonna order no contact. I am going to order bond be set at $1,000 personal recognizance, subject to the following
Ooh.
conditions.
Well, you can get a PR still. All right, fine. I would like to know what the other charge was that she's
I'm
had
gonna order
before.
that Ms. Lounsbury do not leave the state without permission of the court, do not commit any crimes. Do not use alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not possess a firearm or a dangerous weapon. Do not engage in harassing, intimidating, stalking, or threatening behaviors.
Okay.
And specifically, do not assault, harass, intimidate, beat, molest, wound, or threaten Kaylee Mae Lounsbury.
Kaylee May, you're in my hand,
So,
in my
you should-
mind.
Carefully follow your bond conditions. If I get notified that you're being assaultive to anyone at the residence, one, I would modify your bond and perhaps you wouldn't be able to stay there anymore. But the other is, of course, you'd risk being arrested without a warrant. Your bond could be revoked. You could be in contempt of court, for which you'd face up to 93 days in jail and or $7,500 in fines, separate apart from that which you already face. So it's very important you follow this order, that keep peaceful at the home so that I don't have to take more steps, okay?
Yeah.
And if you get out anytime soon, I know Dana White is looking for
I don't
people
know if you have to
that are
retype
good with
them,
their
just
hands.
fix it all up so it matches what I
Don't forget
said.
Power Slap. Do
Anything
debuts tonight on
else for the
TBS, Creed.
record, Michelle?
No, just thank you.
You're all set, Ms. Lounsbury. Don't
All
forget
right,
about your-
there's Grandma.
Oh.
I saw that Charlie has something about a slap. I didn't watch the video, but something about.
Yeah, it's a one of those another one of those Russian leagues that did some stuff that actually we're gonna watch some of that on Poor Sports on Saturday.
Nice.
A lot of
That's a true champion right there. All right, you're not getting me hooked in. We're out of here.
Nope.
Wild Woman Wednesday on We Got to Chase today, 405 East.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, Creed. We got some really Creed. Have you ever called a woman by another woman's name?
Not in bed, but
we're gonna find out what happens when you do, Creed, today on Wild Woman Wednesday.
sounds good. Flusha. Oh, ×2, by the way. Carol, what is FOTY?
Fan of the year.
Oh. That would have taken me a while. Carol, fan of the year. Thank you. Shells, King Flusha, Matt, Leather and Lashes. Thank you all. And all the new names coming through. Appreciate it. Good day, Court. Jumping around a little bit. Saw some stuff. And
that's right. So next time you go to slap somebody, don't bloody their nose or they can call the law.
Right.
Until next time, which will hopefully be 405, you'll be back for that. Please remember, I don't know what though.